This rich man just died. The children are happy. They can't wait. Hundreds of millions of wealth waiting to be divided up. But I never thought that the old man didn't give his children any money, but gave all the assets. The most unpopular grandson in the family. The children were angry on the spot. In their opinion, Mike is a ruling son. At the old man's funeral, he roared all the way in his sports car. Almost shook the old man out of the coffin. He made a magnificent debut with his little brother. I don't know. I thought he was at the wedding. After the children left in a huff, Grandpa's lawyer showed Mike a video. See the video of Grandpa before he died. Mike looked impatient. Grandpa said his family was rich, but the education of their children failed. Mike's father died unexpectedly because he worked for his grandfather. Grandpa thinks Mike is the one he owes the most. Therefore, he prepared many gifts for Mike. However, want to get them, you have to go through the test. If any level fails, then he will get nothing. The lawyer took out a ticket. Fly to Houston at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. The test officially begins. But Mike didn't want to go because he can't get up at 7. My girlfriend can't wait to hear about it. Maybe the old man hid a sum of gold for him. Mike is also curious about gifts. The second day, he still got on the plane. Habitually go to first class, but the steward said his ticket was economy class, and this is a discounted ticket. Unable to upgrade. Mike is so angry. It's the first time to fly economy class at this age. Get off the plane. An old man picked up Mike. Take him to the farm. The old man was a friend Grandpa fought with when he was young. Mike asked him where was the gift. The old man smiled. Tell him to get up and work at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. If you can't get up, stick serve. The old man asked Mike to stake in the farmland. Earn $1 per dozen. That's how his grandfather earned his first pot of gold. Mike is so big that he has never worked before. He slept as soon as the old man left. The old man didn't say anything. That is to deliver him on time at 5 o'clock every day. No way out. Mike had to drive, but the stakes are in a mess. The old man was dragged down by him. Retight. After working day after day, Mike finally made a perfect row of stakes. Finally finished the work. The old man said, if you show this energy, you can do any job. Mike asked the old man for a gift, but the old man laughed and said this was a gift. Mike found a lawyer. The lawyer said, understand the meaning of work. It's your first gift. Mike is so angry. He felt that Grandpa was playing with him. He threatened to quit the game, but the lawyer persuaded him to stay because surprises are often behind. But he just got home. I found that it was not surprise, but shock waiting for him. This rich third generation was still rich in a second. The next second, my mansion was suddenly emptied. The car was towed away. He went to dinner with his girlfriend. When checking out, I found that the credit card was also frozen. Mike embarrassed his girlfriend to pay the bill. My girlfriend cried unbelievably after hearing this. You let me pay the bill. You don't love me. Then turn around and run. Mike is depressed. All these are gifts from his dead grandfather. In the video, Grandpa said, you're really starting life with nothing. You used to take my money and make a group of friends. Now it's time to see who the real friends are. This mission is to let Mike find a true friend. He thought it was so simple. Call your good brother immediately to borrow money. But when they heard about Mike, they broke down. All avoid it. It's so cool in the world. Mike with empty pockets can only sleep on the park bench. Suddenly a tramp said this was his place. Mike looked at so many chairs beside him. I have to fight with myself. He has a temper. Just don't let. The two of them couldn't argue. A little girl can't watch anymore. Let them flip a coin to decide. Then he took out a coin. I didn't expect the tramp to turn around and run away. What a surprise. Mike just made his home in the park. Girlfriends have found new lovers. He hasn't found a friend yet. Mike finally realized what a tree falls and a monkey scatters. That day, he saw tramps rob other people's food. He shouted loudly, drove the tramp away. Take a closer look. It's the little girl that day. Emily invited him to a full meal. Listen to Mike. Emily decided to pretend to be his friend. Help him pass the test. The two came together to see the lawyer. The lawyer felt that Mike must have promised something to Emily, but Emily said,
does he look like he has anything to offer?
Finally, Mike passed the second task. Mike handed him a check. He thought it was a super gift. It turned out to be only $1,500. It turned out that this was his salary on the farm. Grandpa's third task is coming. He hopes Xiao can use the money. Help people who are really in trouble. Mike thought of tramps at once, but the tramp is stealing the bag. Run when you see Mike running away. Mike picked it up and looked. It's Emily's mother's bag. There are a bunch of hospital bills in it. Mike came to the hospital, seeing Emily naked. It turned out that she had severe leukemia. The cost of treatment made my mother feel desperate. Mike used his $1,500 knife, helped Emily pay the debt. Now Mike has passed 3 tests. Work respectively, friend, and money value. Fourth task. Grandpa hopes Mike can bring people close. Go home for Christmas. Mike thought of Emily. Emily said she didn't have much time. She worried that her mother would be lonely after her death. Suddenly she said,
I would be upset if you kissed her.
the girl is terminally ill and will soon die, but I'm still worried about my mother's happiness for the rest of her life. She told Mike, I think you and my mother are a good match. Mike thought, I treat you as a friend. You want me to be your father. He doesn't want to see Emily sad, so she took her mother Lisa home for Thanksgiving. But in the eyes of these greedy families, no family Only money. For Grandpa's legacy. Quarrel with Mike. He left angrily. He saw how unbearable the family relationship maintained by money was. Now, Grandpa gave him a bigger test. Let him go to a village in South America. That's where he fought with Mike's father. Grandpa donated a library here. He became a librarian. Without the noise of big cities, Mike began to calm down and read. Integrate into local life. Feel the most simple happiness. But Mike is always preoccupied, because this is where his father died. Under the guidance of the guide, Mike came to the place where his father died. I learned from the guide. Father is tired of business. Want to leave by plane. Just died. It turns out that these years, he has been wrong about Grandpa. Mike was immersed in remorse, completely unaware of the danger. The local bandits caught Mike, locked up in a small dark room. I intend to exchange him for ransom, but after being locked up for a month, nothing happened. The bandits lost patience. They dragged Mike out. Blindfold. The bullet is loaded. Mike thought he was dead, but the bandits were just teasing him. So today is Christmas. Bandits want to celebrate. Soon, Mike saw that the bandit was drunk, sneaked out. In the middle of running, I suddenly think of the guide. He decided to venture back, saved the guide, suffer this disaster. Mike is like a new student. He knows a lot. He went to see Emily for the first time after returning home, but her condition worsened again. To cheer her up, Mike took their mother and daughter to the farm. The house was specially decorated as a Christmas atmosphere. They rode horses together in the pasture. To realize Emily's wish, Mike and Lisa pretended to be real, but also gradually growing feelings. Night, Mike asked Emily what your dream was. She said, my dream is to have a perfect day, and it's coming true. Mike grew up in fine clothes and fine food. He never dreamed, but now he wants to help others realize their dreams. The lawyer saw that Mike was reborn, happily gave him $100 million. Mike became rich again. My ex-girlfriend posted the news immediately, but Mike is no longer the playboy he used to be. He used the money to set up an Emily's home for helping sick children, but Emily hasn't seen the project completed with her own eyes. Grievous news. Emily finally went to heaven. Mike took $100 million and did good deeds. He finally passed his grandfather's final test of greed. He is qualified to inherit the super gift from his grandfather. Assets worth $2 billion. But at this time, Mike calmed down a lot, because in many tests, he has already harvested many precious gifts. Significance of work, the value of money, the value of friendship, the true meaning of love, the return of family affection, the power of knowledge, desperate trials, the value of dreams. In life, we won't get billions of dollars like Mike, but as long as you live a good life, savor carefully, always get the gift that makes you happy.